Welcome to Spooky Southern Storytime. I know I missed it a couple of days. My apologies. I had stuff going on. But I got a really good story. This is from New Orleans. So I had gone home. This is a few years after Katrina had happened. And I had gone home to visit family in northern Louisiana and then had decided to go down to New Orleans for a few days to visit some other friends and family that lived down there. And I was staying in the French Quarter like I always do. And I had, of course, wandered around the quarter, went to City Park, Bayou St. John. I went to pretty much everywhere I could. And I had gone one morning, I decided to get up early and go down to St. Louis Cemetery number 1. And if you know anything about St. Louis Cemetery number 1, it is one of the most densely populated cemeteries in the world in a small space. It's got over 100,000 bodies buried in it. I'm not kidding. If you want to know the backstory on that, it's basically the way the tombs are set up is like they put a body in and a year later they take everything out. And then like combine and compact the bones and everything and then put a new body in on top. So there's bodies on top of bodies on top of bodies. That's how there's so many bodies there. So spiritual energy is insane. This is also where Marie Laveau, her tomb is in the center of the cemetery. So I had gone and there was a tour group and there I was walking around. This is before they start implementing that you had to be in a tour group in order to go in the cemetery. You couldn't just go in by yourself. So I had gone in and I was looking at stuff. I was taking photos and everything like that. And I was partially listening to the tour guide, and they said, oh yeah, well, everyone thinks that Marie Laveau's been seen around here and stuff, and she supposedly wanders the cemetery muttering curses, and sometimes she's been seen as a snake and everything. We don't think that's true. We think she's just at her house in the quarter. And then all of a sudden I sit there and it got super cold, and it's granted this is like June. Was it June? No, it was August. It was August. It was middle of August in New Orleans. It got ice cold in that cemetery. The second that tour guide said that, I was like, oh, that's not good. And then I hear right behind me, and I'm turned, and I'm like, there's nobody behind me. So apparently Madame Laveau took offense to that. Found that rude. Anyway, so I'm walking around and I'm looking at the tombs and looking at all the different names and how many different families are buried there and all of the statues and everything. It's a gorgeous cemetery. It really is. There's some beautiful, beautiful statuary. And then, of course, there's parts that are just falling apart. And there were like some of the tombs, because all the tombs are above ground. So some of the tombs were crumbling and broken. You could see the bones of the people in there. So there's that. Don't be freaked out. It is what it is. Anyway, so I'm walking around taking photos, and I didn't even notice. I wasn't really, and it's 9 o'clock in the morning by this time. So I'm walking around, took a bunch of photos, and I was pretty much done for, that cemetery, and I was going to head over to Lafayette Cemetery and do a bunch of other stuff in then City Park. So a few days later when I had gotten home, I uploaded all of my photos. Well, apparently I caught something in the middle of the morning at St. Louis Cemetery number 1. Let's see if I can get it. There it is. Can you see? Look in the center. Look at that. You can see that image, and then there's 3 darker images behind it. So, yeah, there you go. I got spirits in St. Louis Cemetery number 1 in New Orleans. That was pretty awesome and pretty spooky. I've always had paranormal experiences every time I go home to New Orleans. Every single freaking time. Just, yeah. It was a lot of fun. Every time I go and every time I've gone, and I always stay in the quarter. I always stay in the quarter as much as I possibly can because it's just easier to get around to everything. And then I can just walk pretty much anywhere. I don't mind walking and stuff. But yeah, it's just layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of different entities, different spirits and stuff like that. And yeah, every time I go, like these spirits are like, oh, hey, you can see us. And I was like, I can hear you too. Can you give me a damn minute? Let me go get a drink first. And then, you can say hi. So yeah, it's pretty awesome. I love New Orleans. So stay tuned for another Spooky Southern Storytime.